I'm Miriam from London. Please like and subscribe. I lived with my parents and my grandma on my dad's side. Grandma was a millionaire, so we lived in a mansion with a pool and even a tennis court. But Grandma was also the meanest lady on the planet. Except to me. When Mom made dinner, everything tasted wrong.
I've never eaten rice this overcooked. I might as well eat bleach for dinner.
But one time, I made Grandma a mustard sandwich and she was blown away.
Look at you, already cooking at 10 years old. My granddaughter is the smartest girl on the planet.
Grandma also showered me with expensive gifts constantly. One time, I helped Dad clean the floors, and Grandma bought me a TV for my room.
Look at you doing your chores. This is what you get for being an angel, darling.
Grandma scolded Mom and Dad for not spoiling me the way she did.
Miriam had a fever yesterday. You two cheapskates couldn't hire a singer or a boy band to entertain her.
Even though she was a jerk to everyone around her, I loved being Grandma's little gem. Whenever my parents got mad at me, I had my grandma to hide behind.
What is this? D on your biology test? Miriam.
Grandma, Mom's yelling at me.
How dare you put that kind of pressure on Mariama? Sweetie, you don't have to study if you don't want to.
My parents really wanted me to become a doctor. When I grew up, they would get me all sorts of medical toys. But all I was ever interested in was paints, clays, and brushes. I often imagined myself as a famous painter and pretended to take a veil off a painting I made. Everyone would tell me I was the next Picasso, and I'd say, "Oh, you're all too kind." One day in 9th grade, I decided to sign up for a painting class, but my dumb parents said I had to take chemistry.
It's time you start taking school seriously, young lady.
We've had enough of your art nonsense.
That was it. I opened my mouth and started to scream. Mom and Dad covered their ears.
What is the matter with you? Are you a toddler?
I think I lost my hearing.
Grandma, they're being so mean to want to take biology. I want to paint.
You two should be ashamed of yourselves. Miriam is obviously an art prodigy and should be painting as much as she wants.
We'll compromise then. You will take biology class, but we'll hire a tutor to give you private art lessons.
Really? Really? Oh, thank you so much. I knew I was being a little bratty, but if I could take private art lessons, so be it. My art tutor turned out to be a girl from my school. Her name was Layla, and she was in the 11th grade. And I didn't mind having her for my art tutor at all. She was one of the most popular girls in school and looked like a supermodel. I'd always heard about her, but I never got to talk to her before.
I'm gonna help you become one of the greatest painters. Soon you won't even need to go to school anymore.
I sure hope you're right. I didn't know you were an artist, Layla. No one ever said anything.
Nobody really knows me at all, really. I think I'm only popular because of how I look, but I don't have any real friends.
Layla and I spent an hour painting and talking, and Layla was right. She wasn't like most popular girls at all. In fact, she was a little weird. One time, I decided to paint my entire face green, just to see what it would look like. All right then, so I guess we're done for today.
Actually, I wanted to ask you something. My parents are on vacation for like 6 months, so I'm all alone in my house. Can I stay at your place? I'll help out around the house and give you triple the art lessons.
Triple the art lessons? I was gonna make sure Layla could live with us. Oh, for sure. I just gotta talk to my grandma. But my parents happen to be in the same room as Grandma, and they wouldn't have it.
Some stranger living in our home? Are you crazy?
Might as well invite a robber to live with us.
You guys are so unfair. She said she's gonna give me triple the art lessons. Grandma, tell my parents to stop being jerks.
Miriam's right. You two are heartless people, not letting a friend of Miriam's into our home, not letting her follow her dreams. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
I knew then Layla was gonna stay with us for as long as I wanted her to. But as time passed, I didn't just do art with Layla. I also talked to her for hours.
Miriam, how come your grandma's such a bully?
She's a bully to everyone, but not to me.
Don't you worry, one day she'll bully you too.
No, Grandma loves me.
You know, you're kinda naive, Miriam. Sort of like a kid.
I am not.
No, it's a good thing. I wish I was more like that.
Layla said the most confusing things, but I loved every moment I spent with her. Even at school, being with Layla was an adventure. She would do the weirdest things.
Miriam, come with us to the boys' bathroom. We're gonna tape anonymous love letters on the wall.
Are you crazy? Why?
'Cause it'll drive them crazy.
When no one was looking, Layla leaned over to me and whispered,
Consider this your most important art, how to win over the boy you love.
"But I don't like any boys."
Or maybe boys don't like you. You're too. I don't know what the word is.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. Boys just maybe aren't into you. Like I said, you're kinda young for your age.
Layla taped her anonymous love letter to the wall and left me inside the boys' bathroom. I was mad after Layla said that. I even refused to talk to her after school.
Come on, Miriam. Don't be so sensitive. I didn't mean anything by it.
You insulted me. Maybe you are just another mean, popular girl.
I'm sorry. You're right. Sometimes I say stupid things. Sometimes I think there's something wrong with me.
What do you mean? Layla didn't answer. Instead, she took me to this gorgeous hiking trail to paint. I forgot all about our conversation. Layla, do you think I can win the Easter drawing contest, become the best artist in the world, and maybe even drop out of school?
It doesn't work like that, silly. I was kidding when I said that maybe you'll never be a great painter.
You don't think I'll ever be a great painter?
I don't know, really. But did you know that you're the best student I've ever had? Maybe you won't become a famous painter, but you can win the Easter drawing contest and become famous for something else.
Why was Layla always speaking in these weird riddles? Layla helped me a lot, and in the end, with my own effort and her dedication, I won the Easter drawing contest. After the contest, I felt closer to Layla than I had ever felt to anyone before, even though she was still a mystery. Then 10 months later, Grandma started picking on Layla one day. It was totally out of the blue at dinner time.
Dear, I assume your parents are successful painters?
No, ma'am. It's just me who likes to paint. My parents are doctors. But like I said, now they're on vacation.
On vacation? For almost a year, and you haven't displayed your paintings in galleries, started a business, and made something of yourself?
Ma'am, I'm only 17.
By the time I was 17, I was already starting my own startup. Your freeloader is what you are.
Grandma,
Excuse me, but I think I'll go to my room now.
I watched Layla get up from the table as her eyes filled with tears. Why was Grandma being so cruel all of a sudden? I was used to her bullying my parents, but Layla, I could barely stand it. I jumped up to follow Layla. Layla, wait, don't take what Grandma said to heart. I told you she can be mean sometimes.
Your grandma's right. Miriam, I have to tell you something.
What is it?
I lied before. My parents aren't on a trip. The truth is, I am homeless. After my parents died, I tried going to an orphanage, but they didn't take care of me, so I ran away. And I've been living on the streets so far. I've been able to keep it a secret at our school, but I'm worried one day they'll find out.
Oh, Layla, I had no idea. Listen, if I tell Grandma about your situation, she'll understand. She always agrees with whatever I say, no matter what. But when I told Grandma Layla's story, her face turned white with anger. She looked like a statue.
I want her out of my house. Miriam, I can't believe I ever agreed to let a filthy child criminal into my home. She leaves today, and I'm calling the police.
Grandma, you can't do that. It wasn't her fault. I want her to stay here and teach me art. She's the bestest friend I've ever had. And for the first time ever, Grandma turned her anger on me.
You don't know what you're saying, Miriam. You're just a silly child. Layla leaves my house today, like it or not.
Then something inside me burst. Grandma, I've had enough of your cruelty. You bully everyone around you, and I'm sick of it. You have no idea what Layla's gone through, and you have no idea what she means to me. Without waiting a split second, I ran back to my bedroom to find Layla. But she wasn't there. Where had she gone? All of a sudden, I saw Layla outside the window with a backpack. She was walking farther and farther away from our house. I dashed outside. Layla, where are you going? Layla just ignored me and kept walking. I ran up to her and grabbed her arm. Layla, please don't leave. You were right about Grandma. She is a bully, and I finally stood up to her. I don't care about what she wants. I care about you, Miriam.
I think you better forget about me. It's for the best.
What do you mean? I could never forget about you.
You're not my family, Miriam. I don't have any family. Nobody loves me. I'm just your art teacher. That's all I ever was.
Before I could say another word, Layla left. I tried chasing her. I never knew someone could run so fast. But after miles of sprinting, I collapsed on the ground and I burst into tears. I didn't get home until midnight. Grandma and my parents stood in the living room next to our giant, fancy fireplace. Grandma's eyes looked like they were on fire.
You spoiled, awful child. Yelling at me and then vanishing out into the night. I should have you locked up in jail.
Okay. Let's go easy.
She made a mistake. She's still your sweet Miriam, isn't she?
She was my sweet Miriam. That was before she became friends with a dirty homeless and spoke back to me. And if she keeps painting, she'll be a dirty homeless too.
I don't care what you say, Grandma. I am going to keep painting, even if I do end up poor.
Why don't you show me a few of your paintings then?
I will. I'm really good in my room. I grabbed every painting of mine I could find. Here, look at how many paintings I've done. And you know what? I'm proud of them.
Wow, honey, we didn't know you did that many.
They look beautiful.
Oh, darling. Let me see.
Then suddenly, Grandma tossed my paintings into our giant fireplace. No!
Mom, how could you?
I threw myself on the floor and cried harder than ever. My beautiful paintings were gone, and Layla was gone.
That's it. That was the last straw. We're moving out of your mansion. We're tired of your cruelty.
That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. You can't live without my fancy riches.
But the very next week, my parents and I packed up our stuff and moved into a new place. It was smaller, and it didn't have a tennis court, and I still couldn't stop thinking about Layla and where she could be. Then one day, I found a letter taped to my window. It was signed with Layla's name, "Meet me at our hiking trail." I took the very next bus to our trail and tried calling Layla's name, but there was no answer. Then suddenly, who should I see but Grandma? Grandma, what on earth are you doing here?
Darling, I wrote the note taped to your window. I was afraid you wouldn't come to meet me otherwise. And I remembered this was your favorite place to come with Layla.
You mean Layla isn't here? I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to her.
Sweetie, I'll do anything to help you find her. But first, I want to apologize for being so awful to you and burning your paintings. I love you, sweetheart.
Grandma started to cry and came over to hug me.
I've been a bully your whole life to your parents and now to you. After I saw your face when I burned your paintings, I realized I wanted to change. I love you, Miriam.
I love you too, Grandma, but it's gonna take me some time to forgive you.
I understand. I don't expect you to ever forgive me, but know that I'm here, and my house is always open to you. And if you do ever find Layla again, you both can move back in with me. I'll adopt her.
Grandma left at that moment, and I stood in the middle of the hiking trail, and then suddenly, I saw Layla sitting on top of a rock. Layla! But as soon as Layla saw me, she started to run up the hiking trail. I chased her as fast as I could, but she was just running and climbing higher. Please wait up.
Go away, Miriam.
Layla, please don't run away from me. I raced up the hiking trail and tried to catch up with Layla, but she was so far ahead of me, I couldn't even see her. Suddenly, I heard a loud cry from above. I looked up to see Layla stuck between two rocks. She looked like she was ready to fall.
Please, someone help me.
Layla, I'm here! Hang on! I rushed to Layla as fast as I could and tried to pull her up, but she wouldn't budge.
My hand is slipping. Do something.
I grabbed Layla with all my might, and she was finally free. Layla and I fell on top of each other and started laughing, but suddenly, Layla looked at me.
Miriam, you're all scratched up.
It's fine, Layla. I don't care. What matters to me is that you're okay. I couldn't live without you.
Really? I mean that much to you?
Yes! You're the most amazing friend and teacher I've ever had. I used to be so bratty and babyish. I had my grandma to run my whole life, but you've changed me. Even though we're not related by blood, you are my family.
Do you really mean that?
Yes, Layla, I talked to my grandma. She apologized for everything. And she said if I ever found you, she'd adopt you.
Oh, Miriam. That's the best news I've ever heard. We'll paint up here every day. I'll teach you everything.
We will. Even if we're never famous, I'll always keep painting with you. I love you, Layla.
I love you too.
Hi, I'm Sasha, and I have a crazy story to tell you. But before I do, please like and subscribe. When I started basic school, I hardly ever talked to anyone. I was so shy and quiet that some of my classmates thought I was a dummy. My kindergarten teacher even told my parents to take me to a doctor and find out what was wrong with me. But Dad completely lost his temper with her.
Are you dumb? She is too beautiful for there to be anything wrong with her. Why don't you save your advice for some other real dumb kid?
But my shyness just didn't go away. I didn't talk much to my classmates, and they thought I was a snob. As if. But no matter what, my shyness just didn't go away. I didn't talk much to my classmates, and they thought I was a snob. As if, once, when I was in the first grade, some of my classmates asked me to share my candy with them, but I just stared back at them and didn't reply.
Who do you think you are, you dumb girl? I said. Give us candy.
I didn't say a word and started walking away. They got angrier and circled me. Suddenly, I opened my mouth and let out an ear-splitting scream. They were so shocked to actually hear my voice that they just stood there stupidly and I managed to escape. But at home, I was a completely different person. I was super chatty and an awesome storyteller. In fact, sometimes my parents begged me to stop talking because I was giving them headaches. Once, I kept them awake all night, telling them a story I had in my mind about some princess. And because I didn't know how to write well, they spent all night writing it for me. It ended up about 90 pages long.
I will do this every night, sweetheart. I can't believe I have such a beautiful daughter in my life.
Dad just worshipped me because I was pretty. Mom was different and loved me no matter what. I was still too shy to talk outside my home. But people never stopped trying to become friends with me. And I know why now. It's only because they thought I was cute. But I had to admit, I kind of liked it. When I was in the 3rd grade, one boy threw a piece of paper at me that said, "Your smile makes me happy, but your words make me happier." Can I hear them? I blushed, and from that moment, I tried to talk more. So I made new friends and also started taking part in different school activities. When I was in the 8th grade, my parents helped me publish my first short novel. But it was a failure, and people didn't like it. I got sad. Dad didn't take it well and sued the publishers saying it was their fault. But of course, he lost the case, and I decided to take a break from writing. Until one morning when our class teacher walked into the classroom with a tall, athletic boy. It really looked like the boy wasn't too happy to join us.
Everyone, welcome your new classmate, Liam.
Liam had a deep frown and a stupid smile at the same time. He had this funny Grinch face. The teacher told Liam to take a seat right next to me, and I gave him a friendly smile.
That's the ugliest smile I've ever seen. Have you heard of toothpaste? I can buy it for you. If you don't have money, you can pay me back. Maybe with a kiss.
Oh, wow! I was about to respond when the teacher started the lesson. It was a French lesson, and he looked completely blank. Hey, do you need any help?
From you? You don't look very smart, and I don't need help from a girl when I can use Google Translate on my phone. So buzz off.
What a jerk! The next day, when the teacher returned the assignments, Liam looked really angry to see a big F on his.
What kind of dumb school is this? How can Google be wrong?
I took a look at his paper and burst out laughing. That's not even French, you idiot! You translated the whole thing to Spanish! He crumpled up his assignment into a ball and threw it at my face. But I couldn't stop laughing. Boy, how could someone be this stupid? I figured out soon enough that Liam wasn't interested in learning or making friends. Eventually, the whole school realized that Liam was just interested in bullying others. Sometimes, he would snatch students' lunch and threaten to beat them if they reported him. I was one of those unlucky students. But after the 3rd time he did it, I reported him to the principal and he was put in detention. When Liam returned from detention, he looked straight into my eyes.
You are going to pay for this.
Well, you should know your limits. If you ever try to bother me again, I swear you will regret it. And I might even tell Dad.
Aw, Daddy's daughter, look at me. I'm so scared. Oh, Mommy, hug me.
Once he tried to knock my books out of my hands, when suddenly a bunch of boys behind him came and said,
"Dude, why are you being like this with a pretty girl like her?"
Wait, what? So if I wasn't pretty, that would be okay?
Well, pretty girls deserve special treatment, you know. So now we're all here to stop him. He can't annoy pretty girls.
Well, thanks for your caring, but girls can defend themselves. And I pushed through them and left.
Told you guys, girls are crazy, especially the pretty ones. Now get lost, all of you, or else.
Liam did whatever he wanted. It seemed he wasn't afraid of anyone, not even the principal. I really hated him. One rainy day, Liam came to school completely drenched, and it seemed like he'd fallen sick. He was shivering non-stop, and the principal said he'd call his parents to take him home. But to everyone's surprise, Liam screamed,
No, I'm fine. I don't want to go home. Please let me stay.
You have to go home and rest.
No, I don't. I could run a marathon right now, just some water, and I'll be good to go.
Later at recess, I found him huddled on the bleachers, and he was hugging a worn-out teddy bear. Dude, is that a stuffed toy?
Don't insult Mr. Smith.
Oh, he has a name? Is he like your little baby? Is he adopted or did you give birth to him?
Shut up, can't you leave me alone?
You're sick and you need to go home.
You look much, prettier when you're quiet. Now stop acting like you care.
Have to be like this. I'm trying to be nice.
Who asked you? Mind your own business.
As soon as he was fine, he went right back to being the jerk he always was. I started writing about him in my notebook. Liam was such an interesting person for a villain. I couldn't believe that having someone as horrible as him in my life was actually making me want to get back to writing. One day when I was leaving the cafeteria, Liam blocked my way and demanded that I give him my lunch. We're not in kindergarten, idiot. And I ate it. And I'm not afraid of you. Now shoo. As I walked past him, he suddenly pulled at my bag and everything spilled out. A couple of boys immediately ran over to help me, and I gathered my stuff and left angrily. What an immature jerk. When I went home, I found out that my notebook was missing. I rushed straight to the locker the next morning and was going through all my stuff frantically when I heard Liam.
Behind me looking for this?
Give that back, you jerk! He threw it at me, giving me that stupid smile of his.
Got what I needed.
And with that, he walked away. I had no idea what he was up to, but I found out soon enough. Later that day, the whole school was gathered in the gym for a lecture on fire safety. As we stood waiting around for it to start, suddenly, Liam jumped onto the stage and tapped the mic for everyone's attention.
Ha ha ha. While we are all gathered here to talk about our safety in school, I just want to say, I don't feel safe at all. How can I when I have a stalker right here?
Oh no, 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 no. Just then, the large screen behind him flickered and images from my notebook showed up. As the sketches and the things I'd written about him flashed on the screen, I wanted to disappear.
And it's none other than the girl everyone adores. Sasha, she's obsessed with me. Guess just because you're pretty on the outside doesn't mean you can't be a total creep inside. So everyone be careful. You might wake up someday to find yourself a villain in her novel. She's cuckoo.
As everyone's eyes turned to me, I could feel panic rise in my chest.
But it's okay, sweetie. I can still be your boyfriend. Want to hang out sometime?
As I ran out of the gym, I turned around and said, "You're bad. I hate you." As I walked into the school the next day, my legs were trembling. I just stared down at my feet as I entered the classroom. The lesson started, and when the teacher asked me to read my essay out loud, I just looked down and shook my head. Just as everyone was leaving for the cafeteria, Liam hung back.
Hey, Sasha, are you okay? If this is about the gym thing, everyone knows it was just a harmless joke.
I just stared at him silently with angry tears and walked out of the school. This time, he responded and looked a bit guilty. Liam didn't come to school the next few days. I don't know why, but I actually felt worried. One day, he finally showed up. "Hey, I still don't like you, but I made sure to make notes for you when you came back. And no, girls aren't dumb. We can be emotional sometimes, and that's something we're proud of." Just then, to my shock, Liam broke down and started to cry.
Sasha, I'm really sorry. I don't know why I'm this way. I just act out because of things going on in my own life.
Then he told me about how his mother had passed away when he was 6, and he was left all by himself with his stepdad.
He's mean and stupid and doesn't even take care of me. And one day, when I'm old enough, I'm gonna punch him in the face.
I finally saw why Liam was like that. He was just a frustrated kid who needed help. Next day, during lunch, Liam jumped on one of the tables and announced something. Everyone got quiet and listened to him.
Hey everyone, I'm just here to apologize for everything I did to all of you. I still think some of you are weird, and I don't like most of you, but that didn't give me the right to treat anyone like that. So, as they say in French, lo siento.
Dude, that's Spanish. Just get down. Everyone burst into laughter, and Liam gave me a hug.
Thank you for lighting up my life. I promise I will become a better person. No, not really. only under one condition: make me the irresistible, handsome, great hero in your novel.
Helping Liam become a better person is my greatest achievement. Now he is a medical doctor with a beautiful wife, and he named his child Sasha after me. And now I'm a famous writer. Hi, my name is Pomni from Norway, and I never thought anyone noticed me. Not until I met the sleeping boy. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start at the beginning, like and subscribe. You won't regret it. Growing up, the only person who ever noticed me was my big sister, Ragatha. My mom traveled for work so much that I even called Ragatha Mom. When I was too little to understand what was going on, my sister would take me to school, where I would sit in silence and never say a word to anyone until she picked me up again. And then I wouldn't shut up the whole way home. But she didn't mind. She liked hearing me talk, and she liked playing games with me, like making me look like one of her dolls. She would also give me a makeover using our mom's makeup. Or dress me up as a monster and have me chase her around the house. Roar! I'm gonna eat your head.
My head?
Yeah, it's the yummiest part.
You really are a little monster.
Roar! When we got older, our mom moved to another country for work. She asked if we wanted to come, but we decided to stay. Ragatha had graduated from university and had a real job now, so we didn't have much time to hang out. But every Friday, I would wait for her at the train station near my school for when she got out of work. And we would hang out all weekend. And even though we grew up, nothing really changed. Except now we didn't play dress up anymore. Now we dressed up for real to go out to dinner, or the arcade, or whatever we wanted. We had the best life. The only problem was, I was still too shy to talk to anyone, especially boys. One time when we were at the arcade, I saw a boy staring at us. Ragatha elbowed me.
He's looking at you, Pomni. Go talk to him.
My cheeks got so red, my hands all clammy. I suddenly froze up and couldn't even play the games anymore.
Okay. Let's go home. You don't have to talk to any boys. But you know, it would make me really happy if you tried at least once for me.
Maybe you can talk to a boy for me. Then I won't have to do any work. She gave me a dirty look, but she was only kidding. I knew she was right. I just had no idea how I would ever talk to a boy. Then one Friday, the train that was supposed to arrive didn't come.
And suddenly, I got a really bad feeling. After 30 minutes, the train finally came, but Ragatha wasn't on it. I called and called, but she didn't answer. Then finally, I got a call, but it was from a random number.
Hello?
Is this Ragatha's sister? Pomni, this is the hospital. Your sister was in an accident. She's in a coma.
All the air left my lungs. In the hospital, I found her lying there with her head bandaged. She looked like she was sleeping. They didn't know how, but she fell onto the tracks and hit her head. The doctor said it was impossible to know when she would wake up. From that day on, I started visiting her every day. I usually read to her, but one day I forgot my book, so I just talked. And when I left, I ran into the nurse in the hallway.
If you have time, maybe you can talk to him too. He's in a coma, like your sister. I think he was part of the accident she was involved with.
He was?
I think so, but we don't know who he is. He didn't have any ID when he was brought in.
He had no one to visit him. I felt so sad. I imagined my sister being here all alone, with no one to talk to her all day. Before I knew it, I was in his room. He looked a couple of years older than me. I sat down beside his bed, and without even realizing it, I was just talking to him, just like I talked to Ragatha. 30 minutes later, I was finally out of things to talk about. That's when I realized something. You know, you're the only boy I've ever talked to. You're a really good listener. I started bringing 2 books to the hospital every day after that. One for my sister, and one for the boy with no name. Something strange happened after I was reading to him for a few days. Every night when I went home, I would think about him and even dream that we met and talked and fell in love. I realized it was ridiculous to fall in love with someone I didn't even know. And the next day, when I read to him, I tried to push the thoughts away. But for some reason, I just couldn't help but think maybe it was love at first sight. That night, I decided to leave the book I had been reading to him in the hospital closet so I wouldn't forget it. But when I opened it, I saw there was a leather sketchbook inside. I opened it and saw that it was drawings of people at the train station. Every page was a different person. I flipped until I found my sister. I couldn't believe it. I realized then that the nurse was right. They must have been in the same accident. And it gave me a great idea. Maybe if I could find out what happened, I could find out who he was. I went to the train station from his drawings. It was the same one Ragatha used to come and see me after work on Fridays. I saw a woman waiting for the train. Excuse me, do you know about an accident that happened here a few weeks ago?
Yes, I was here. A young woman fell from the platform as the train was coming and she hit her head. She would have died. But then the boy jumped down and picked her up. But as he pulled her away, the side of the train hit his back and he fell too.
Whoa! The boy I had been reading to all this time had saved my sister's life. Maybe I wasn't so ridiculous for having feelings for him. Maybe it was destiny. Then the woman pointed to an elderly lady.
That older woman. I think it's the boy's grandmother. She's been coming here every day waiting for him. We tell her he's in the hospital, but she doesn't remember.
I was so sad to see her waiting there for him. I wanted to tell her what happened. Excuse me, ma'am. Are you waiting for your grandson?
Yes, he's never late.
I don't know what happened, but I decided if she couldn't remember anything, maybe it wasn't a good idea to tell her something so terrible, like he's in a coma and might never wake up. But I couldn't leave her there like that, waiting for him. She had a cane and looked very weak. I'm sure he'll come home soon. Can I help you get home? I walked with her as she told me stories about how kind and wonderful her grandson was.
His name is Oscar. He's always drawing. He takes care of me.
With every word she spoke about him, I was falling more and more in love. But then I realized, oh no! Without him, she had no one to take care of her. After I walked her home, I went to the market and bought a bunch of food and took it to her house, where we both cooked while she told me more stories about him.
I always tell him he needs to meet a girl and have a life of his own. But he says he doesn't have time for girls. He says it's because of his work. But I know it's because he takes care of me every day. But there is one girl he likes a lot. He always draws her. See?
She pointed to a stack of drawings. I looked through them all. They were all of Ragatha waiting at the train station. I couldn't believe it. He was in love with her. My heart broke into a million pieces. The love I felt for him, it was all for nothing. And what was worse, if they both woke up, they would probably end up together, and I would have to watch. Still, I couldn't let his grandmother be alone, with no one to take care of her. So every day I would take the train and find her there waiting for him. And every day we would cook while she told me stories about how wonderful he was. I had to smile, but I wanted to cry. And every night after visiting her, that's exactly what I did. I cried on the train ride home, on the walk, and in my bed. And every day I would get up, go to the hospital, read to my sister, and then read to him. And then one day, I stopped reading and just talked. You know, Oscar, you're still the only boy I've ever talked to. And to be honest, the only boy I've ever loved. When you wake up, everything will be different. I'll miss spending time with you, but I hope we can at least be friends. One night, while I was sleeping, I got a phone call. Hello?
Fantastic news! Your sister woke up and she's doing really well!
I ran to the hospital and found her sitting there eating pudding. She smiled big when she saw me. I hugged her so tight, she begged me to let go. Before we left, I asked the nurse, "Can I come back to see him again?"
I'm sorry, but we don't allow anyone up here except family. I wasn't supposed to let you visit him at all, but I felt so bad.
Oh, I see. Can I say goodbye? She nodded, and I went to Oscar's room. When you wake up, I'll make sure you and my sister meet again. Oh, and don't worry. I'll take care of your grandmother until then. Goodbye, sleeping boy. I asked if Ragatha remembered anything, but she didn't. I heard a boy saved your life when you fell?
Really? I would love to meet him one day.
I'm sure you will. Fate has a way of making things happen. After that, Ragatha was still too hurt to work, so she just lived with me. But I kept seeing Oscar's grandmother every day to make sure she ate and was doing okay. One day, I knocked on his grandmother's door, and when it opened, it wasn't her on the other side. It was Oscar. I am.
Hello! Are you looking for my grandmother?
Yes.
She told me someone was taking care of her while I was sick, but she couldn't remember your name. Thank you.
Then he gave me a big hug, and all the thoughts I was trying to push away about being in love with him came back. He invited me inside, and we all had dinner. And this time, he had done all the cooking, and it was still delicious. While we sat and ate, I realized all the stories his grandmother had told about him were true. He was kind, sweet, funny. Then he asked me to wait while he put her to bed. After, he asked if we could talk outside. I said yes, but to my surprise, instead of going out the door, he went to a ladder that led up to the attic. Wait, why up there?
This is where I go to draw when my grandmother goes to bed, and tonight there will be fireworks.
He went up, and I followed him, even though I hated heights. He led me to a window and stepped out. He sat on the roof, and I sat beside him, looking over the faraway city. The lights twinkled like stars.
So how did you meet my grandmother?
Oh no! I hadn't thought about this part. If I told him the truth, I would have to say that I read to him in the hospital. At the train station. She was always waiting for you. Which wasn't a lie exactly. But now that meant I couldn't even tell him thank you for saving my sister's life. Maybe if I ask him about the accident, it will all come out naturally. But he said he couldn't remember what had happened. I felt so foolish for not telling him the truth, just to save myself from a little embarrassment. All he did was be nice to me. I decided I owed him for saving Regatha. So even though I would be humiliated and look stupid, I would tell him the truth. But before I could, he said,
I kind of remember a little. There was this girl. I think she fell. I was in love with her.
I know.
You know? How could you know?
I saw your drawing of her. Your grandmother showed me. You were in love with her. That's why you jumped and saved her.
Actually, no. I was in love with her sister.
I couldn't breathe. Did he just say what I think he said? He looked down at the ground and said,
Every Friday, the girl from my drawings and I would get on the same train. Sometimes we talked a little. She said she was meeting her sister, and she started telling me about her, what she was like. She was cool and funny, and when she would get off, her sister would meet her. And I guess it was love at first sight, like we were meant to be. Sorry, I must sound stupid.
Good thing he wasn't looking at me. Or maybe he would have seen the hearts in my eyes. Why did you draw her sister and not the girl you liked?
I only saw her for a few seconds every day, but I always tried.
Then he showed me his book of drawings, and all the way in the back, there were drawings of parts of a girl. Never the full picture since he drew from memory but never saw her fully. It was me! I couldn't believe it!
After the accident, I can't remember what they looked like. I went to the station today, but I didn't see anyone who could have been her or her sister. I guess I'll never see her again.
Actually, you're looking at her right now. He turned to me, confused, and then his eyes lit up as he recognized me.
But how? I don't understand.
I put my hand on his and kissed him. Just then, the sky exploded with fireworks. I pulled away and looked into his eyes. It's a little complicated. Let's just say I took care of you.
Hi, I'm Mandy. Please like and subscribe, and tomorrow you will have the best news. Growing up, we moved around a lot because my parents were journalists. I got really good at making friends quickly, but holding on to any of them was tough since I always ended up leaving, no matter how many of my so-called besties promised they'd stay in touch. After a while, they never did. It was heartbreaking every time. One day, Mom came home with big news. She got a job in Washington, D.C. for a national newspaper, and we wouldn't have to move anymore. I was so excited. Finally, I would have rooms of our own to decorate, make friends that would last. It was a dream. When I started at my new high school, I was nervous. I had to make an amazing first impression because this one had to stick. When I sat down at my desk in the homeroom, the other kids looked at me like I was an alien until a pretty brunette girl sat down next to me.
Hey, I'm Jasmine. Love your jeans. Where'd you get them?
A thrift store in New York.
Oh my god. Is that where you're from?
Sort of. I told her all about life on the road, and we hit it off right away. I could tell she was popular, and it was easy to see why. Very involved in all sorts of clubs and sports. So charming, and top 2 of our class. She was always competing for the top spot against this one kid, Chase. She warned me about how annoying he was, and I totally agreed. I was stuck next to him in math class, and he was always talking and distracting me from taking notes. From the second we met, Jasmine invited me everywhere with her and her friends. We did our homework together, ate lunch, had sleepovers. It was amazing! Soon after I started school, Jasmine convinced me to come to her French club to see if I wanted to join. she introduced me to her friend Camille, and we had so much fun. We watched French movies and practiced speaking with each other. I joined immediately. They were going to choose 2 students for a summer study abroad in Paris. I just knew it would be a really smart move for my future. One day, I went to Camille's house to study with her, and suddenly, the cutest boy I'd ever seen walked into her kitchen.
Hey, butthead.
Excuse me?
Sorry, that was meant for my dumb little sister.
Ugh, don't listen to him.
I'm Ryan. You must be the famous Mandy I've heard so much about.
Don't you have somewhere else to be?
Nowhere better than right where Mandy is.
Then he smiled the most perfect smile I'd ever seen. I could have melted into a puddle right there. The next day at French Club, I told Jasmine all about him. Oh my god, Jazz! He's on the soccer team. Good at school.
Wow, he sounds like
He perfect package. OMG, he's here. She turned to see Ryan walk into the room right then suddenly. Her eyes turned to ice in front of me.
Ryan. He's my ex.
Oh!
But I mean, if you like him, I guess.
No, of course I wouldn't.
Oh, good, because it'd be so weird. I'm so glad we're friends.
What are you all talking about?
Oh, nothing. It's nice to see you again.
Since when are you in French Club?
Since I found out Mandy joined.
It was so awkward I thought I'd die. Just then, Madame Delacroix clapped her hands.
For announcement time for our upcoming Parents' Night, we will be breaking off into pairs to research and cook a classic French dish.
She started group. And surprise! I got paired with Ryan. For just a second, I thought I could see the ice return to Jasmine's eyes, but she blinked, and it was gone. I felt sort of guilty that I'd be spending so much time with Ryan, but I vowed to keep my promise to Jasmine. Soon after that, I got assigned to help Chase hand out awards at the banquet. Hanging out with him all night would be the perfect punishment for me. A few days later, Ryan and I had to get together at his house to make chocolate mousse, my favorite.
Have you ever made this before?
No, but I've watched my dad make it, so I think Then I started the mixer. It started whipping everything up so fast that our chocolate mixture started flying out of the bowl. Soon we were both covered in chocolate. I was mortified, but Ryan just laughed and swiped some chocolate off my nose.
Looks good to me.
After we got cleaned up, we managed to make a second batch just in time to make it to the event. Madame Delacroix tasted every dish and said ours was the best of all of them. I was pretty proud, and I hoped it would get me some extra points toward the Paris program. Not even having to sit next to Chatterbox Chase all night could ruin my mood. After that, Ryan started asking me to hang out more and more. Soccer games, study sessions, sometimes even trips for ice cream. He was really funny, and we liked all the same books. I could tell he liked me, and I was really starting to like him. But I couldn't betray Jasmine. When I told my mom about it, she thought I was being ridiculous.
I don't think Jasmine really has your best interests at heart, Mandy.
She was my first friend here.
But that doesn't make her a good friend. What kind of friend keeps you from being with someone you really like?
It's girl code. So I was definitely surprised the next day, at lunch, when our group started talking about boys to hear Jasmine exclaim,
Who needs them? I've so moved on from Ryan. I mean, we only dated a few weeks anyway. Mandy, you can have him for all I care.
I was elated to hear her say that, but now I was nervous. I'd never really pursued anyone before, but all the signs were there, and I decided to go for it. Soon after, Ryan hurt his ankle at a soccer match and had to leave the field. We lost. I decided to visit him the next day, especially now that Jazz had given her blessing. When I walked into his living room with some cheery daisies, his whole face lit up, and he pulled me down to the couch in a huge hug. When we pulled away, I felt like I was falling into his beautiful brown eyes. I thought for just a second I might get my first real kiss, but I chickened out. I brought some ice cream too for Sundays.
You're the best, you know that?
We watched TV and ate way too much ice cream, but things felt a little different. He was texting almost constantly, when he usually was always talking to me non-stop. I wondered if I had ruined things by pulling away earlier. I tried to ignore it, but when my mom came to get me, I was sort of glad to leave. For the next few days, I tried to keep my head down and work hard towards the Paris trip, but I was glad for the distraction when Jasmine announced her birthday party to the whole class.
Arcade this weekend. My birthday wish list is on all the invites.
You going?
Of course. Jazz is my best friend.
Sure she is.
Cryptic much. You're so weird. I caught up with her in the hallway after. Can I hitch a ride to your party? This will be so fun. I already have your gift.
My carpool is full already.
Oh, okay, I'll just... But she was already halfway down the hall, leaving me in her dust. I figured she was just distracted about her party and tried not to think about her weird behavior. I texted Ryan to see if he and Shamil wanted to carpool, but all I got were 3 typing bubbles in response and then nothing. In fact, I didn't hear anything from anyone all weekend. What was going on Saturday, when my mom dropped me off at arcade, a gift in hand for Jasmine, I pasted a big smile on my face as I got out of the car. Chase waved to me and smiled. He really wasn't so annoying, maybe just a little awkward. As we walked into the party room, imagine my shock when I saw Jasmine's stick standing there holding hands with none other than Ryan. A pit dropped to the bottom of my stomach. When she leaned over to kiss him, I thought I'd die. All I wanted to do was run home and curl up under the covers, but I couldn't. It was Jasmine's birthday, my best friend. Still, I was mortified. Everyone knew I liked him, and they had all seen us spend so much time together. Now, he wouldn't even look at me. As everyone started pairing off and heading to the arcade, I realized I didn't have a partner. Blinking back tears, I suddenly felt a warm hand on my shoulder.
Hey, let's pair up for a round.
Sure. Chase and I played through, and even though I had a pit in my stomach, we actually had a lot of fun. He was pretty good, and even when I danced offbeat, he pretended not to see it. When we went inside for Jasmine's cake, I tried to put on a brave face, but when Ryan leaned over to help her blow out her birthday candles and Jasmine turned to smile at me with a gleam in her eye like nothing was wrong, I knew I had to leave. I snuck out to the bathroom to call my mom to get me, and as soon as I got into her car, I burst into tears and cried all the way home. And even though Chase texted me to check on me, and Camille did too, the one person who I actually thought would worry enough to reach out never did. I didn't hear from Jasmine until Monday in homeroom.
Mandy, why'd you leave my party? The cake was so good.
Why did I leave? Jasmine?
What?
You have to know why I left.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You knew I liked Ryan. You told me you'd moved on, and all of a sudden you show up with him without telling me.
How can you be mad? He was my boyfriend.
Your ex-boyfriend that you said I could pursue. Why tell me that if you wanted him back all along?
See, this is why we kept it quiet. We knew you'd be upset.
What?
We got back together the day he got hurt at his soccer match. He wanted to tell you, but we all knew you'd just be upset.
So you've just been lying to me for weeks? All of you. Jazz, how am I supposed to trust anything any of you say?
All's fair in love and war.
And with that, she flipped her hair over her shoulder and switched desks. I was devastated. My first real friend. And everything had gotten so messed up. What had I missed? When I saw Ryan walking home from school, I sped up to catch him. What the heck, Ryan? I thought we liked each other. And then you show up like that with Jasmine and totally blindside me.
I didn't know you liked me.
Oh, come on. The ice cream, the flowers. You knew I liked you. There have been several moments and I didn't just imagine that you liked me too.
I did, but you never said anything.
Well, neither did you.
And then when Jasmine came to me after I got hurt saying she wanted to get back together, why would I turn her down when I wasn't even the one to break up with her?
Like me. Don't like me? Fine. But you could have had the decency to say something before just showing up like that and humiliating me. I deserve better than that. I tried to put on a brave face at school. After all, hadn't I been a lone wolf for my whole life? But I'd gotten so used to having a friend at school that I suddenly felt the absence. Luckily, Chase came to sit by me the first time he saw me sitting alone at lunch. I couldn't see why I'd hated him so much for so long, other than the fact that Jasmine didn't like him. He was so sweet and really smart. Even though I avoided Jasmine and Ryan at all costs, I refused to quit French club. As the weather got nicer, Chase tried to get me to come out to soccer games, parties, concerts. But my sole focus was on school. I was more determined than ever to get one of the spots to go to Paris and prayed that Jasmine wouldn't get the other one. Chase became my favorite study buddy. He was almost as determined as I was for me to win the top spot on the Paris trip. On the last day of school, our report cards came out straight A's. Chase and I got big ice cream sundaes after school to celebrate. As I looked across the table at him, I thought about everything that had happened with Jasmine and Ryan and our whole big group, and I decided I was so glad to have one actual good friend instead of a bunch of not-so-great ones. Afterwards, Chase and I walked down the National Mall as the sun set. So, Mr. Number 1 in the class, how does it feel?
I'm just glad to have beat her, to be honest, especially after everything that happened with you.
I can take care of myself.
I know, but from day one, you seemed so nice, and I tried to make friends with you so quickly because I knew she'd come after you right away.
What do you mean?
Jasmine and I have been in the same class since kindergarten. She has always kept the girls she was most afraid of close. You know, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
But I was never her enemy.
She's always been afraid of the smart, pretty girls in our grade. Even if you don't see it, trust me. To her, you were a threat.
Wow, I had no idea. But if I had to go through all that to become friends with you, it was worth it. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was Madame Delacroix. Hello?
Mandy, I'm pleased to inform you that you have been selected for this summer's study abroad in Paris. Pack your bags, mademoiselle. I am so proud.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I mean, merci beaucoup. When we hung up, I squealed. Oh my God! I'm gonna have a stamp in my passport. Suddenly, Chase's phone rang. And when he saw the caller ID, he looked up at me with a gleam in his eye. I could barely contain my excitement. And when he finally said, "Thank you," and hung up, he turned to me with a huge smile.
Looks like I'll have a matching stamp.
Paris? Together? I threw my arms around him, overjoyed to be off on a big adventure with my favorite first real friend. Hi, I'm Rapunzel from Armenia. Please like and subscribe. When I was little, my mom and I moved a lot. We changed towns every few months. And I couldn't help noticing that I was different from the people around me, even Mom. Everyone had dark eyes and hair, so my blonde curls and green eyes attracted attention.
Wow, she's so precious! And well, she looks nothing like you. Is she really yours?
Mom always smiled and said I looked like my dad, but I knew she didn't like the comments. And soon, we moved again.
Don't look at anyone directly. And never take your hoodie off outside. People get jealous of your beauty. Love.
I was 6 when Mom started working as a cook in a mansion, and she told me strictly to never leave the kitchen. One afternoon, Mom had gone out for groceries when a tall woman walked in, and she stopped short when she saw me.
Aren't you a beautiful little girl? Why don't you come with me, honey?
As I was in her living room eating cakes and chatting nonstop, Mom came bursting in.
There you are. I've been looking for you everywhere. Sorry, mistress.
Oh no. I brought her here. From now on, she'll spend time with me while you work.
Mom wasn't happy at all, but I'd have the best time. The mistress helped me with my reading and gave me lovely gifts. But a few weeks later, she said she wanted to adopt me.
I can give her every luxury in the world. Her life will be 1,000 times better. As my daughter.
How can you even ask this, ma'am, to part with my own child? I would never.
You fool. If you truly cared about her, you'd let her have the life she deserves. Also, I looked up your records and there's no birth certificate for any child of yours. Leave her with me and we can keep all our little secrets.
She reached out for my hand, but I grabbed hers and bit it hard. She screamed as Mom and I ran.
Pack your things quickly. Hurry!
And so we left. But this time we kept traveling till we reached some docks late at night.
We're leaving for the U.S., darling. We'll never know any peace here.
Someone Mom knew helped us sneak onto a cargo ship, and we left to start a new life in New York. We spent the first few months in a homeless shelter, but Mom found a job at a restaurant soon, and we could afford a small place. Mom even let me join the public school after changing my name. When I asked why, she said it was for my own good. And I didn't ask anymore. Even though I didn't really stand out here, people still admired my looks. In 5th grade, my friend Melissa, who participated in beauty pageants, told me to try out too. The prize money was good, so I begged Mom to let me join, and I soon became a pageant queen. And modeling offers started pouring in. By the time I was in high school, I'd done my first national ad for a shampoo, and my face was on a billboard. One morning in 10th grade, I walked into the school hallway to see some kids gathered around a boy. He turned his face, and I caught my breath. He was beautiful. He threw his head back and laughed at something, and it was the most captivating sound in the world. Suddenly, our eyes met, and I realized I'd been staring at him like a moron. But I had to find out who he was. I walked into class to find all the girls talking about this handsome new stranger. Just then, we heard a loud groan.
Ugh, jeez. I'll tell you who he is if you give me $20 each. And for $50, I'll introduce you gals to him. He's my brother.
The new boy introduced himself as Derek and said his brother Ryder was our senior. Just then, the teacher walked in, and everyone flew to their seats. I caught Derek looking at me, and he smiled. He was cute, but his brother was a Greek god. One day, I had to reach a modeling audition after school, and as I quickly crossed the road, my heel got stuck in a chewed gum. As I struggled to set it loose, I looked up to see a motorcyclist charging straight at me. But suddenly, someone pushed me out of the way. I opened my eyes to see Ryder looking down at me.
Hey, are you okay?
I think so. Nope, I feel dizzy. Ryder swept me up effortlessly and carried me to his car. He took me to the hospital, and it turned out I had a minor concussion.
Your mom's on the way, I called her.
Thank you. I am so lucky you were right there.
Well, it wasn't a coincidence. I was actually following you to ask you out.
Really?
Why do you sound surprised? I can't be your first admirer. You just might be the most beautiful girl I've ever met, Rapunzel.
He touched my cheek and my heart fluttered. Just then, Mom walked in, and she couldn't stop thanking Ryder. I was discharged soon, and he even dropped us off at home. Ryder and I started dating, and the next few weeks were like a dream. He was intelligent and thoughtful and always knew how to make me laugh. We were the golden couple of the school. A few days later, I got paired with Derek for a science project, and we met up at the library to discuss it. It's funny, we've hardly spoken before, especially since you're in my class and I'm dating your brother.
Well, Ryder has that effect on girls. They fall head over heels for him and see nothing else.
That's not true, and I'd like to get to know you. Let's all have dinner sometime.
I'm not sure that's a good idea. Listen, Rapunzel, there's something...
What's going on here?
Hey, we're working on our project, and I was just...
He's your project partner? No, that won't work. I'll talk to your teacher and have your partner changed.
What? This is none of your business, dude.
It's very much my business, dude. I don't want my girlfriend to fail, which she will with you.
Derek looked furious and stormed off. Ryder, you can't tell me who to be partners with. And what's wrong with your brother?
Listen, babe, you don't know him. He's not serious about anything. And he just thinks he'll inherit millions one day without lifting a finger. I'm already working with Dad and his company, and freeloaders like Derek just bother me. Trust me, he's gonna make you do all the work and just take credit for it in the end. Just ask your teacher to change your partner, please.
Derek didn't seem like that, but Ryder knew his brother better, and he looked upset. So I requested the teacher for a partner change the next day. Life was good, except that lately, I'd been getting rejected after auditions, and Melissa had gotten a few ad campaigns I'd really wanted. But she was my friend, and I was happy for her. We were at a party together one evening, and I noticed Ryder was really quiet on the way home. Hey, you worried about something?
Yeah, just you, babe. You trust people way too easily.
What do you mean?
You don't think it's strange that Melissa has suddenly been getting every single commercial? She's rich. What if her mom paid bribes to get her those parts?
What? No! Melissa would never do that. She's the one who got me into modeling.
And she probably regrets it now since you've been doing so much better than her. Jealousy can really change people, Rapunzel. Trust me, I know.
His words made me uneasy, but I decided to ignore him. But a few days later, Melissa and I were at an audition for a lipstick commercial, and she kept forgetting her lines. I had a flawless audition, so I was shocked when Melissa was selected again.
Hey, I was so sure you'd get that.
Yeah, me too!
Wait, why do you sound mad at me? I'm just as surprised.
Oh, drop the act! It makes no sense you'd get selected unless you paid your way in.
What, are you crazy?
I can't believe you'd stoop so low. Ryder was right.
He said this about me? Rapunzel, you've known me since we were kids. Why are you letting this guy?
He's my boyfriend! And he's clearly less naive than I am. Melissa and my other friend stopped talking to me after that, and it just made me angrier that they all took her side. Thank God I had Ryder. Soon it was our 2-month anniversary, and Ryder wanted to celebrate in style by taking me out on a date to a classy French restaurant.
I want you to sit on this side, facing just me. I don't want anyone else to admire your beauty tonight.
That's a bit weird, and so cheesy.
It's just how I feel. And here's your present.
Ryder, you've already done so much. I gasped as I stared at a gorgeous amber necklace.
See? How could I not get that? It's like it's made for you, Amber.
My heart was pounding as he put it around my neck. Why? Why did you just call me Amber?
Did I? Obviously a mistake, Rapunzel. Now shall we order?
I felt so distracted that I could barely read the menu. I needed some air. I excused myself to go to the bathroom, but just as I got up, I bumped into the waiter bringing our drinks.
Oh, I am so sorry, madame.
No, it was my mistake. Here, let me help you.
Oh, please, don't worry about it. I'll get you some drinks.
As he ran off, Ryder turned to me coldly.
Why were you flirting with the waiter?
What? I was just trying to be nice. But suddenly Ryder swiped all the plates off our table.
Don't play me for a fool. You kept touching his arm.
You're insane. I'm leaving. I ran out of the restaurant and looked around for a cab, but Ryder caught up with me.
If you walk away now, I'll make your life miserable, Amber.
Why do you keep calling me that? Just stop it.
Ha ha ha! Because that was your name before you came here, wasn't it? I know all about your past and you can't escape it. Yeah, I'll have you and your mother deported to Armenia and...
Suddenly, Ryder tripped over something and fell down, hitting his head. I frantically called an ambulance and used Ryder's phone to call Derek to the hospital.
What happened?
He tripped over something. The doctors say he'll be fine, but I can't stay here another minute.
Rapunzel, what really happened?
I broke down and told him how crazy Ryder had acted in the restaurant.
I wanted to warn you! You're not the first girl he's done this with. He's the perfect boyfriend at first, but then he gets so jealous and scares every girl away.
It's not just that. Derek, he knows things about me and he's threatening to ruin Mom's life and mine.
If you tell me what it is, maybe I can help you.
Derek, I need to talk to Mom first.
Of course, and you need to be sure you can trust me.
I looked into his warm brown eyes and I felt I could. So the next day, I asked Derek to come to my place and Mom told him everything.
I'm not Rapunzel's mother. I'm her aunt. Rapunzel's parents passed away when she was a baby, and I was her guardian in their will. But her other aunt and uncle kept insisting that I give Rapunzel to them. They only wanted her because of all the money in her name. They were powerful people, and I knew they'd keep trying to take Rapunzel away from me. So I ran away with her. We traveled far, but I'd always felt they'd find us. Then we came here and changed our names, and it seemed like we'd finally left everything behind. Until now.
We can't go back there, Derek.
I'll do everything I can, I promise.
I couldn't bear to go to school for the next few days. I felt sick with anxiety. Then finally, one evening, Derek showed up, and he was smiling.
My lawyer worked on your case. And given how long you guys have lived and worked in the US, your status will be made legal immediately. You can't be deported. No one's going anywhere.
Mom and I cried and laughed as we hugged, and I threw my arms around Derek too. Thankfully, Ryder still hadn't returned to school, and I started hanging out with Derek. I also apologized to Melissa.
Rapunzel, I was so affected by what you said that I confronted my mom. She didn't pay for me to get those roles, but someone did, and I have no idea who.
I do! It was Ryder! He did it because he wanted to turn me against everyone close to me. But I never should have doubted you. A few days later, I'd just put some stuff in my locker when I turned around to see Ryder.
Hi, Amber. Did you miss me?
You wish, and don't think you can ever bully me or scare me again. I don't care what you know, you can't use it.
Wow. What a transformation from the chicken girl I last saw. But yeah, I just came to tell you that I've lost all interest in you. Seems like you really lowered your standards when you settled for my brother. And I don't date trash.
He walked away, and I realized I'd been holding my breath. But minutes later, I heard loud voices down the hallway, and I ran to see Ryder smashing Derek against the lockers and beating him up. It took 4 teachers to pull Ryder away as he screamed like a maniac.
You want everything I have, don't you? You always have, you little worm. Do you think I'd let you be happy? I'll ruin your life, Derek. You'll regret the day you ever crossed me.
Derek went home early, and I was completely shaken by the day's events. Later that night, I was having trouble sleeping, and I heard a loud tap on my window. I sat up in horror, only to realize it was Derek. Gosh, you scared me! How are you feeling now?
I can't feel my face, but my heart's happy. I just had to tell you. Ryder went completely bonkers at home too, and my parents have admitted him to an institution for therapy.
That's such a relief! I'm sorry you got hurt because of me, Derek.
Don't be! I'd take 100 punches for you. Well, not 100, but you know what I mean. And Ryder's right about one thing. I've wanted to be with you since I first saw you.
He leaned in and kissed me, and it was lovely. We graduated from high school and both went to the same college in another city. Right after graduation, Derek and I got married in a small ceremony with our parents. Ryder was apparently out of the institution now and managing his dad's company in Europe. But of course, he wasn't invited. And a year later, we were blessed with a beautiful baby girl, Sarah.